Well, everybody, 2 years later, and here we are. 2 years is a big difference, EliteAri. They're not going to know our dynamic or how funny we are now. They're just stuck in the past. What do you think about that?
Unless someone is just watching through this entire series all at once in the future.
Yes, they're up season 4. They're catching up. They just found us randomly. At least one person is enjoying this way. But EliteAri, you know, sometimes we get some outside viewers for this one. They don't watch shitty anime like over on your channel. Here we talk about serious things, live action things. And that's why we're here today to talk about House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 1. Isn't everybody very excited? EliteAri finished watching the episode about 30 seconds ago. It's incredible. I watched it the second it came out. Actually, no, because I have a degenerate sleep schedule right now, EliteAri. I watched it whenever I woke up that day. It's probably like 5 hours later. Anyway, it comes out on Mondays for us, you know. We're on, like, the forefront of the world or something. Now, everybody needs to get clued in on something, all right? Now, this show came out a long time ago, so I should be saying right now, everybody, give EliteAri a little bit of credit. He's not going to remember everything. But little did you know, me and EliteAri recorded a secret video, only for the most secret of patrons, and that's for nobody, because we recorded a preview for this season that was excellent. I was schooling him on everything. I was quizzing him on everything. It was hilarious. I want to say intuitive again, EliteAri, but I'm looking for a word that describes good. Inglorious. It was all goods. And then I deleted it, chat. I deleted it. I was clearing out some old VODs. You know, I'm uploading them to my VODs channel now. I got one of those now. And, you know, I'm like, oh, I must have uploaded all of these. Delete, delete, delete. And then EliteAri tried to get me some scamware thing so that I could save it or something, but he was lying the whole time. So, EliteAri has been caught up on some things. We did talk about things recently. EliteAri is a little boy. He doesn't know no spoilers. He watched some scenes back in the day, but he's completely forgotten Joffrey and Marjorie and Shireen and Stannis. They didn't say anything about anything to do with this show. He's not read Fire and Blood at all, even though at the end of the last thingy, we did speculate on perhaps we would read Fire and Blood, which was spectacular. We never ended up doing that. And technically, I haven't read any of the stuff in Season 2. The chapter that I read up to, like, I read like 400 pages of that, like, 600-page goddamn book, and then stopped at the end of this one. But I know every goddamn spoiler under the sun. I know everything that's going on, and I'm a genius. So I've been spoiled on everything.
I do have to say, Kyle, I did get spoiled on one thing this episode because I did something accidentally, which was that I saw you sent a message in the House of the Dragon Discord channel. And I didn't want to read it. I was like, I'm not going to read this, but I need to move the channel from the inactive place to the active place. So I dragged it up, and dragging it up opened it, and I saw it, and I was like, God damn it.
My message in there was, do you think they're going to get in trouble for decapitating a baby? So EliteAri was clued in that there was going to be baby decapitations.
But I saw this a few days ago, and I did remember it, but I had no idea how it was going to play into anything. I right until like the last minute, I was like, what was Kyle's thing? And then I really figured it out when they were like the two kids there. And
when they were decapitating the baby. That's crazy. It was literal. It wasn't even a metaphor. But we're not speaking of that yet, EliteAri. You're spoiling the climax of our discussion here. Now, I was on a roll saying something, EliteAri, and if you expect me to remember where I was, you're listening to the wrong bloke.
Yep.
So you're supposed to remind me, because you're smart.
I don't know. I had to declare my spoiler there. I have no idea.
Oh, we were talking about how spoiled we are. I know everything. EliteAri don't know nothing. No spoilers in the comments. I don't remember if EliteAri was checking him last time, but he's not going to be able to stop himself this time. So if you spoil something, you know, I'm going to beat you up in the comments section. I'm going to delete it. Maybe.
Wow.
Anyway. I guess, EliteAri, this is where you say what you thought about Season 1.
I mean, I love Season 1. It was to summarize our extensive discussion. Yeah, true. Well, apparently it's very different from Fire and Blood, right?
True,
like
true. We're going to get into that. The people are mad, but they're wrong. Anyway.
Crazy. It was great. We got two half. Like, one half was like flashback, or like the past one is like the future, or whatever.
Forwards, EliteAri.
Oh, whatever. It all came together. Yep, they're all great. I love everything.
No, you didn't name them.
Lucerys, Jacaerys.
Set them out of order. King Joff.
I mean, apparently Kyle told me there's a character called Joffrey who I don't remember, and I didn't see this episode either.
He was in this episode.
Okay. There's Aegon, Aemond. Oh no, Helaena. Is that the girl?
The queen. My queen.
Yep. Alicent, Otto.
Okay, you know,
Christian
shut
Cole.
up,
Blah
shut
blah
up,
blah.
shut
Okay.
Okay, well, you said Aegon, and you could have been saying the next one in Rhaenyra's line because you forgot the 2 youngest kids, but instead you were talking about the other Aegon, my king. But we'll get into all that in a second, EliteAri. But then, obviously, they have Aegon and Viserys II, you idiot. Now.
Right.
I quizzed him on this not a week ago, chat, and he's already forgotten. Embarrassing. But you have a vague remembrance of what happened. You know, you're tuning in here. So we talked about our fake recording. We talked about what we thought. Oh, season 1, you know, I used to think it was the greatest show of all time. And then the second half of the show happened, you know, and all the bad stuff happened. And, you know, they got rid of the Australian girl and everything went to shit.
And I prefer the second half because I like the kids and having their the legacy of the fighting from the older generation being passed down to the children. I thought that was great.
Yes, very brave, very smart, EliteAri. Do you think our rendezvous last week, EliteAri, that sounds sexual. Do you think that was helpful in this episode? Were you like, I wouldn't have remembered this if my good friend Kyle hadn't told me?
Yep.
That was one of the notes I had, EliteAri. I had to pull myself over. Okay, EliteAri, it's time for overall thoughts about the episode. You go first.
So this was a nice, classic, great episode of House of the Dragon. I enjoyed it. I don't know what else to really say overall.
That's all you got to say, EliteAri. I don't know. Maybe you were coming in hot saying, oh my god, this show fell off, you know, fucking shit.
Oh, I guess, okay. One thing to say is that it feels like it's been a while since I've watched like a prestigious kind of TV show like this, which has like a lot of serious tones and serious directing and stuff. So it was good to get back to that. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Whatever that means, Shay, you know. He's just been stuck
you know, Doctor Who, not House of the Dragon, Acolyte. Like, these are not very prestigious kind of things, but yeah, it's fun to get back
hates
to this
Acolyte.
Kind of
he hates.
No, I love Acolyte. Oh my god.
Doctor Who too. That went woke, right, EliteAri?
That's always been woke, and I love it.
Thankfully, House of the Dragon, you know, about the girls fighting and the forced-in diversity with the whole black family and stuff, they haven't gone woke yet, so I'm thankful for that, you know.
I love the black characters in this. They're great.
Oh my god, I would never delineate a character by race, personally.
I'm just trying to respond to you, Kyle. I'm matching your energy. Go ahead. Yeah, keep going.
Matching energy, EliteAri. I wonder where you got that term from. Anyway, I think this episode was also great, EliteAri. Pretty good, you know, pretty swell, pretty cool. I liked it a lot. I think it corrected for some possible mistakes that I saw in my speculations and perhaps how the trailer would lead one to believe. EliteAri also, no trailers for him, and I bet he didn't watch the preview for well, it wasn't next week, it was on the season to come, EliteAri. Bet you didn't watch that, pussy.
Haven't seen nothing. Didn't even watch a behind the scenes thing, if they still make those. I've seen nothing.
I never watched
no reactions,
They started pissing me off last season. I don't remember why, but I quit them.
Yep.
Can you believe they kept doing them after they got so memed on in season 8? That's crazy. Anyway, you'd think they would be like, never again are we forgetting about the Iron Fleet, all right? We're never having a moment like that. But nonetheless, oh my god, they mentioned the Greyjoys for one line in this, EliteAri. We'll get to that, don't worry. So I'll be EliteAri's guide as we go through. Oh, I had one more overall note. I said the dialogue is still very different, EliteAri. If you remember, this was all I would talk about last time, is how different the dialogue was. Do you recall my talking
Yeah, I
point?
do. Yeah, well, you mean different from Game of Thrones, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I do remember that talking point,
Yeah, so we got even this, far too many good morrows in this, EliteAri. Can we fucking take ourselves goddamn seriously and cut this shit out? Now, in these books, sometimes they'll hit you with a good morrow, but you don't have to hear it. Your internal voice just hears it, all right? Tyrion never said good morrow, or if he did, he said it sarcastically because the writers knew it was retarded. But I'm sick of it, EliteAri. No more of that. But it is completely different, EliteAri. So much of this Game of Thrones dialogue was like so conversational and like modern and like quippy in like the way an action movie is written or something. The more I think about Game of Thrones, EliteAri, the more it like dates itself as like very much from that time period. I think it is good enough most of the time in the early seasons, you know, seasons 1 through 4, the actual good ones, EliteAri, to like push through it. But I wonder if in like 30 years, we're all going to look back on Game of Thrones and think it was really fucking lame.
I doubt it.
But also I miss it and think it's better than the dialogue in here. Now, last season, I was a fierce defender until the end. It's not until after the show ended, EliteAri, that I was like, oh, maybe I didn't like the second half of that show so much. I had birdies in my ear, EliteAri, the little M's, you know, Minty and Miller. We talk about them all the time. Minty was Miller, frankly, with the second half of House of the Dragon. He was just mad about everything. All this black, EliteAri, all this black bias, you know, about how Rhaenyra just can't do anything wrong, and how he wanted her to be killing people, like maybe she was in the books, bro. And all this, he was complaining about something, and Miller was complaining about something else. Minty's not around right now, EliteAri, and Miller swore to us that he wasn't going to watch this show. If you remember, he was complaining about it. Yeah, he had a whole thing like he this is the most Miller message in the history of the universe, EliteAri. He hits up the general chat, or I don't know if it was media share, and he goes, "Does anybody even remember anything that happened in this show?" Because he was like, "Oh yeah, this show's shit. I don't even remember it." And then he like started like typing out what happened, and he remembered quite a bit of it. You know, I didn't even prompt him; he just started doing it himself, contradicting himself. Crazy. But there at the end, he was like, "I'm probably not watching it, bro." So we don't have to deal with that until I bet like 3 episodes in, he goes back and watches the whole thing. EliteAri, I called it. Don't send this to him; he'll do it. Anyway, so these two idiots were complaining about everything, and I was defending. I was a righteous swordsman, EliteAri. What do you call that? A righteous knight? A white knight? I don't know. I was one of those things. I was a loyal king's guard, EliteAri. How on brand. But anyway, now
on brand.
Yeah. Oh, EliteAri, you stop jumping the gun. We'll get to that in a second. Now. That being said, now I can analyze the show in my objective mindset, EliteAri, and I can come to the conclusion that I think I like the Game of Thrones dialogue better, because you know sometimes it's a little stilted, and it takes itself a lot more seriously. There's no self-awareness, but it's still pretty good, you know.
I don't remember my stance on this whatsoever last time. If I was to pick up something now, I would say that I feel like this dialogue is only the way it is because of the characters that we're currently following. Like we're following a lot of royal people or whatever. I feel like last time. Like, for instance, if I think of, like, Robb Stark and his dialogue, I feel like that wasn't very... I feel like that was kind of more similar to this. Or if I think of, like, Catelyn or everything she said kind of felt more like this. I don't know. I feel like the only exceptions I can think of are characters like Tyrion, or... I don't even know. Who else am I thinking of? Tyrion, maybe like Bran's whole little group.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bronn, maybe, but we don't get much of them. A lot
of the characters Dany was around would all be, like that. But I think even Robb Stark is like massively different. Like Robb Stark would always make fun of people for like calling him Your Grace and shit like that. Whereas a lot of those like sort of codes and stuff are taken very seriously in the show. And Larys Strong does not act like Littlefinger or Varys, where they're constantly like making pedo jokes at each other or whatever.
Well, that's because he doesn't have a dynamic with someone like that. I feel like you could introduce people like that.
But even when he is like, I don't know, I just think it's very different. I guess Daemon is slightly similar to like the
I would say that.
But even
I don't think so. I think if anything, the children have the potential to do that. Especially if you think of like the dinner scene from last season. I feel like they were more candid in their conversations there.
Nah, I feel like there's still such a formality. Like even I think a lot of it comes down to the way the lines are written themselves, where they're trying to flex almost, writing in like sort of old-timey language. I don't know. I don't know. It's not that big of a deal. It's just a thing. I was going to make a video about that at one point, EliteAri, but, you know. I think there's like a 3-page script of it, too. Anyway, EliteAri, let's get into the episode!
Okay, you want me to say something?
Enthusiasm, EliteAri.
Yeah, okay, let's go.
Yep. Or, because we're going to start with the intro, you could have gone, like that.
Oh my god, there's a new intro, Kyle. Can you believe it?
No, there's just new visuals.
Wait, that would make it a new intro, right?
Half new?
I would say more than half new, because I think the visuals are more than the audio, but doesn't matter.
Hold on, do you think the headlines would be bigger if they changed the song or the visuals, EliteAri? You just proved yourself wrong, because obviously it would be built more if they changed the song.
So why do you think that's the case, Kyle?
Because everybody goes, I love the Game of Thrones intro song, even though personally, EliteAri, I think it's kind of, you know, mid and overrated.
All right. I could argue this, but we're not going to waste time on this. Let's keep going.
Anyway, they're like on the threads on like fabric or something, or like a tapestry or something, and it's the same shit. It's just a bunch of like old.
It was much better than last time. The only thing I remember from last time, it was like there was like a castle and there was like blood or something going through.
It was on like rocks and stuff, bro. Nah, I thought.
I mean, it was cool the first time I saw it, but like now that I've rewatched it, I'm like, I mean, it's like, I don't know, it's a bit dark. It's a bit like bland. This is more interesting. You got cool like visuals. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm assuming it's something about Valyria, and then like it goes all the way to the modern day where there's like 2 kings or a king and a queen or something. Yeah, it looks cool. I like it a lot.
It's like the Doom, and then the 3 sisters. Well, Aegon was a boy, so it was the 3 siblings, and then Maegor and him dying on his own throne and stuff. And I know history, EliteAri. I'm pretty smart and cool. And also the way like the threading comes up to make the shit is just like how they used to do the little puzzle things in the original show. Yeah, pretty, soy callback. Now, EliteAri, if you wanted to talk about soy, you would talk about the opening shot and the music cue of the first scene, EliteAri.
Yes, it was Winterfell, right?
Oh my god, it's the Winterfell music. Yeah. Are we freaking out, bro?
I was like, oh, this is neat. It looks really good. I was just impressed visually. So
the establishing shot looks a little different. And also, EliteAri, do you know how we are guided to Winterfell?
What do you mean?
Oh, fucking crow, bro. Bran was in the show.
Oh, no, I didn't even notice. Why did we go to Winterfell? Unless I must have missed it, because I didn't recognize the Jacaerys or whatever. I didn't recognize him initially. Was he at Winterfell, or did he just straight go to the Wall?
Well, I assume he went there, and then they together went to the north.
But did we see him there? I don't
think so. We see like a guy that kind of looks like him be chosen to go to the Wall when they're all like picking shit out of the bag, and it's like, yeah, you pick the black rock, you got to go to the black Wall, except it's blue. Now, Bran was in it, bro. I wonder if that raven had 3 eyes. I couldn't zoom in hard enough. But yeah, we're just going to Winterfell. We're soying out about it. It's pretty cool. Similar way to how... Oh, yeah, I think that is how we're introduced to Winterfell in episode 1 of the original series, is we follow, like, a bird, and then it flies to the thing, and we get an establishing shot. So, we're just referencing shit, EliteAri. But then we meet Cregan, or they were saying it weird, EliteAri. The fandom says Cregan, but I think they were saying Cregan or something. It was pissing me off.
Well, the fandoms are dumb. We don't trust them. So whatever they said in the show is way better.
No.
This is like a whole Dragon Ball thing, calling them Bills or something instead of Beerus. Like, come on.
Yes, Bills. I remember Bills, and I remember Krillin. I can't say the fake Krillin name.
Kuririn.
Oh, that's the one. Oh my god, but that's just Japanese or something. But Japanese is fake, as we know. Dragon Ball Z exists in English. But anyway, I don't remember how it's said, so I'm going to say Cregan, and then you're going to start saying Cregan, EliteAri, because this motherfucker ain't coming back this season. But we introduced him and put an actor and stuff, so he'll be back later. But he has an introduction and a monologue. It's really soy. Duty and honor and stuff, EliteAri. I hate the Starks. They're lame.
I thought he had a good presence to him. He felt like a leader of like the Starks or something. Maybe it was just purely what he was wearing. Like, yeah. Or maybe it was the voice as well, but I did really like him. I was like, man, this guy like stands out.
Did you notice he had ice on his shoulder, EliteAri?
I don't even know what that means. Is that metaphorical? What do you mean he had ice on his shoulder?
Blindwave's favorite sword?
Oh, firstly I didn't notice, but yeah, that is the sword, isn't it? Oh my god.
That's Ned Stark's sword, and then they burn it down, and then they give one to Joffrey.
Yeah,
and
that was sick.
Jaime.
Tywin does it, right?
The Joffrey one, yeah, Tywin does it, and then Joffrey gives his to Brienne, I think. Well, no, Jaime gets the other one back and then gives it to Brienne, I think. I don't fucking remember. Cool. Anyway. He had ice on the shoulder. The Wall soy. I'm just soying out in these messages. I love
angry. The Wall.
Oh,
I think it's never looked this good before.
Oh my god, my name's EliteAri. I love White Walkers, bro.
I mean, yeah, the White Walkers are the best part of the entire Game of Thrones thing, the whole appeal of it. So I'm glad to see more stuff here. I loved, oh my god, Kyle, the dragons refused to cross the wall. What a cool line.
I spoiled that for you in our preview, you fucking moron.
Oh, if you did, I completely forgot. And there's no evidence, so no one will know. But man, it was so good.
First of all, I mentioned that moment because that's from earlier in Fire in Blood, and it's really cool. Also, they butchered it. It was just the Queen, I'm pretty sure, that went to the Wall. Jacaerys stayed in Winterfell, so because the Queen is cool and Jacaerys is lame, and I'm sick of all these Jacaerys propagandists. They're fucking all losers. And Jacaerys, you'll remember, EliteAri, the old man from the prologue of the first episode of the thingy. His wife was already dead by then. Shout out Queen Alysanne. That's his younger sister, who he was sexing, EliteAri. Anyway,
unbelievable.
Now, they didn't want him to sex his wife, but then the Baratheon dude that was like running the kingdoms for him when they were really young, but then they did, and then he turned the tables on that Baratheon boy and told him to get the fuck out of King's Landing. That Baratheon boy was also sleeping with their mother, bro. It was crazy. Anyway, everybody should read Fire and Blood. It was sick. Oh, that's also where they got the Emma Aaron scene from, because that father ends up doing it. Anyway, it's a thing. Oh, yeah, it was their mother that had died in the C-section and stuff. Anyway, I was just flexing EliteAri. Oh, yeah, so Alicent takes her dragon, and it doesn't want to go across the wall. Now, I thought that what they were going to do is they weren't going to mention it, but we were going to have Jace fly to the wall, and then his dragon wouldn't pass, and it would just be like, oh, my God, it's like what the cool moments we're taking them all from. Just like we took the fucking C-section, and we took this part from the other parts of Fire and Blood and put it in the show, bro. But they didn't do that. They just mentioned it. Importantly, EliteAri, we never saw Jace on his dragon once. We ain't paying for that shit. Fuck you. I don't remember Jace's dragon's name, EliteAri, and I bet I would have last 2 years ago when we last met, so I've fallen off.
Yep.
There was something else to say about the dragon not... Oh! Now, this is all cool, EliteAri. I'm admitting it, all right? The dragon doesn't want to cross the wall because the White Walkers are up there. That's really creepy. Now, this works in Fire and Blood, the book, because we haven't seen what the dragons and the White Walkers are going to do in the books, EliteAri. But in the show, the dragons just flew past it, and the payoff is, like, ruined by retroactive continuity.
Or there's, like, a prophecy, so these dragons can, like, cross it for some reason.
Prophecies can't be cool. And also, well, I guess, EliteAri, what you were supposed to respond with was, well, one of them ends up dying up there and the White Walkers get a dragon, so obviously that's why the dragons don't want to go up there, because they have some sort of a prophecy mindset to see that. But that's lame, and that's not a good payoff. And the White Walkers nothing was explained. There was nothing interesting about them. They just died. Game of Thrones Season 8 ruins it.
I mean, no, there's definitely some interesting stuff about it, like how they were created from the first men or whatever. That was really cool. Like in a fight with the children of the children of the forest, whatever they're called. That was really cool.
The children of the forest created them, and then they got out of control. How interesting, bro. But what are they actually?
Yeah, no, wait. I think that's really interesting, right?
Yeah, it is if it's fleshed out more, but it's not.
No, I think this is the distinction between me and you and Miller, which is that I don't think that something has to have a payoff for it to be really interesting and cool. Like, I don't...
I think the White Walkers have to have a payoff, EliteAri.
Well, yeah, I think the fact that it didn't have a payoff ruined the story. I don't think it ruined the White Walkers. Like, because I think I still enjoy the original stuff with them. Like, all of their... I think up until the fact that they get destroyed so easily, like, if you discount that, I think everything else about them is really cool. And I would love to get more of them.
I feel like there's so many, like the White Walkers have certain things. They have a setup with fucking Craster, and they're just, like, leaving them alone so they can get babies, but what do they want babies for? It does, like, none of the, I don't know, I feel like it leaves a sour taste in your mouth every time they hint at the White Walkers or whatever, and it's just like,
yeah, well,
that would be cool if we had something to look forward to, or if it was teasing something really cool that we already knew. It's just like, I guess you can kind of.
You know what? I used to think like that. Maybe even last time we talked about this, I thought like that. But I've changed my ways. Okay. Yeah.
Anyway,
they're cool because they're cool.
You're not cool because you're not cool, EliteAri. How about that one? Don't give me the silent.
I thought you were gonna keep going.
There's no pay after this. I already read that, EliteAri. Cregan gives 2,000 greybeards. Now, don't worry, EliteAri. I don't have notes like this for every episode. These are just all the Jace notes, truncated at the front. So we're probably going to talk about it character by character. EliteAri should have explained this to you or the audience beforehand, but fuck you both. So we get 2,000 greybeards, EliteAri. Now, this is a thingy like that they used to say back in the old show, you know, greybeards and stuff. They're like old men, but they've been in war, EliteAri.
Yeah, I gathered, yeah.
Because Cregan is very busy, EliteAri. Now, you know, we got to introduce him here. He's going to be important later, but we're not going to see him for a season, is basically what they're telling you here, you know. There's a few characters introduced in this one, EliteAri, but we'll get to them, don't worry. Oh, it's always snowy on the wall, EliteAri. This hack fraud show, you know, I am a veteran of the Song of Ice and Fire novels. I have read 1 and 1/10 books, if you'll recall, EliteAri. You know, there's no snow at the wall.
But there is. I saw it.
Yeah, you're an idiot. Now, it's just.
I also don't actually remember if it was snowing.
Crazy. Like, no, in the show, it's always snowy, and it's like you hit it, and then there's just snow constantly. But in the book, like, you have to go like like a bunch of kilometers forward before you get to the mountains, and that's where the snow is. And it's just like a crazy, like green, dark woods, like for like a mile or whatever. I can't remember what the little forest is called right outside the wall. But isn't that so cool, EliteAri? There's just an ice wall for no reason. Doesn't that make it more mysterious?
Yep, sure, yep.
Now, when winter comes, it gets all snowy, EliteAri, but my goodness.
They did say it. They said the winter's
but they were saying that in the
whatever.
original show too, and in
even
that
Allison
first
said
two
it.
books. EliteAri, I got it. I wrote it down, okay? And then I called Cregan and Jace here two femboys, EliteAri. Why are they so femme?
I don't even know what that means in this context.
They look
Did they
so
say
pretty
something
and
thought...
like little boys, and I'll beat them up.
I don't know, they're actors.
True. But Ned Stark was a cool guy.
Yeah, but he's like a famous actor. It's different.
Sean Bean, yes. But Robert Baratheon was a cool guy.
Yeah, but he's like... I don't know, Kyle. What do you want me to say?
There's no cool guys. Who's the coolest guy? Daemon? He's a little twig
Yeah, Daemon's pretty cool.
Even shitty fucking really Aemond isn't even that cool. He's also kind of...
Aemon's the coolest
I'm sick of you and Blindwave and the Normies. Oh my god, EliteAri, I've watched Blindwave and the Normies.
He has like a sapphire eye or something. Oh my god,
he's like Sephiroth, bro. No, he's not. He's a little dweeb. He's small.
Yeah, but he looks so cool.
Now that fucking... I can't remember if he was blood or cheese, but that guy was cool, you know, EliteAri.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
He's not familiar with the thing, chat. Oh my god. Now, EliteAri, at the end of the episode, there's two assassins. One's called Blood and one's called Cheese. And the big fucking dude. Now, that's a guy, EliteAri. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah,
fuck
sure.
the high towers. You know, he could beat me up, EliteAri.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. He was like that one dude from Black Sails. He might literally be that one dude from Black Sails. You know what I'm talking about? No, that dude was real short.
No. Oh, he could be. No, there's no way.
Do you know the one? Do you know intrinsically the one I'm talking about, right?
Wait, I assume. Like, it'd be funny if I'm wrong. I'm assuming the guy that Vayne fought in like at his house. No.
I'm thinking the one that Anne beats up in like season 4.
Oh yes, actually, that could be that. That might be him.
I feel like that guy was very wide and very short. He definitely wasn't the dude from season 1. Bro, that guy was scary. Remember that? That's off the Black Dude gets fucking killed, bro. That shit was fucking crazy. Black Sail's way better than the show. They cut all the interesting Jace up north stuff. Oh my god, EliteAri, remember how every Mushoku Tensei episode you get to monologue about all this stuff they cut? Now it's my turn, EliteAri. So our boy Jace, he goes to the Eyrie, EliteAri. Just cut that shit out. Now the Eyrie is very interesting, EliteAri, because if you remember, Rhaenyra's mother, she was Emma
Aaron.
Oh my god, EliteAri, you're so smart. And it's like her niece or something. So like they're like related, and they immediately are like, I love Rhaenyra. But also it's just like Robin Aaron from the original show. The niece is a little girl, EliteAri. So she's not too fierce and she doesn't have too many worries and stuff. And that's why she's like, well, we need a dragon to protect the Vale, and then I'll give you my troops. It's because she's a little girl and stuff. Now, EliteAri, because of this, in the books and stuff, it's way more important, like, where your grandma was from or whatever. I guess in Rhaenyra's case, it's just mum. So, you know, they have, like, these flags and shit to represent each side, EliteAri. So on Rhaenyra's one, there's 4, the flag is cut in 4, and it's, like, the Arryns, the Valerians, the Targaryens, and I think there's 2 Targaryen ones, and they're opposing each other or whatever. Anyway, that's because the Arryns are very important, but the show said, fuck that shit. We don't give a shit about Arryns. We're not even having them in this episode. Probably not even casting that little girl. We'll see if some soldiers show up. So that's not cool.
So wait, what is this flag you're talking about? Where would this come into play?
Well, it's just on all their banners, right?
But is this after they've had the big fight at the end of season 1? Like, you're saying that they should have banners to represent who's on each side, or is this just like in general? Like, well, no, Emma Aaron like, should have.
It's you go on the wiki page, EliteAri, and under it says Rhaenyra's banner, and it's gonna have a picture of what I just described.
Okay, I understand.
You'll understand. But in the show, it's definitely just one's a green one with a black dragon, or I think it's a gold dragon, and one's a red dragon. You know, just red and green, EliteAri. We don't want to confuse you.
Or black and green, yeah.
What did I say? Red and green. Well, red and black are the Targaryen colors, and then we got green and gold, the high tower.
Okay,
you understand.
So you should have said red and gold, but yeah, okay.
I'm not just saying things to say things, goddammit. Oh, and then, EliteAri, we even mentioned this last time. We go up to White Harbor, EliteAri. Now, EliteAri, the North, a big place. Full of nothing, EliteAri. Bunch of fucking losers up there. Winterfell, The Winterfell town is like a kilometer south or some shit. It's not very big. Winterfell doesn't have that many people. Then we got the Boltons over there. They don't got that many people. We got the I nearly said Krayskarks. What the fuck are the other
Carstarks?
Shut the fuck up, Illyri. You don't know shit. They're all the way over there. I think they actually do have a bunch of people. Anyway, a bunch of these castles, we got a bunch of them. They got like 1,000 people in them each. There's one city in the north of EliteAri that's called White Harbor. It's about as south as the north goes, and that's where Manderley is from, the big fat guy. He was barely in Game of Thrones. You don't know him, but all the book fans like me, EliteAri, big book fan. We all know him. He's really cool.
Why?
Go ahead.
Now, I don't know. Maybe you'll have a moment where you're like, I'm so smart, is what you're going to say to yourself. But why do I remember someone saying, like, down White Harbor Way or something? Is that like a meme or something?
That sounds like a meme, but I don't think it's White Harbor. I think it might be White something, and it's completely unrelated. So down White Harbor Way, you know, that is down. And then you go on boats at White Harbor because they got a big port. Anyway, it's a big town and it's a big city in the north. This is never in the original show. It's in the books, though. You know, pretty cool. Davos goes there, gets put in prison, and then he's got to break out. And then, you know, it actually doesn't get broken out. You know, shut up, Leary. That doesn't matter. Davos. Who cares about that guy? Now, we got, anyway, he's got to go there, and I think they give him something, too. Anyway, that's pretty cool. And then he goes to the north of EliteAri, and Cragun Stark's there. He's a really young man, just like he was in the show. And he's just coming into power, so he can't really do much right now, is sort of the story. But he's got, like, a sister or something called Sarah Snow, and her and Jace, supposedly they were kissing and stuff. You know, Jace is supposed to marry his cousin, so that's not very nice. And there's supposed to be a bunch of drama there, and either Cregan Stark is very happy that he's sleeping with his sister, or very mad at EliteAri, and then they make something called the Pact of Ice and Fire, because, you know, that's like the name of the series, so you're supposed to think it's really cool. And the implication is that, like, Cregan told him about the White Walkers, and Jace was like, yeah, we're gonna come and fight the White Walkers right after we finish the thingy. And then, but then, you know, this never comes to pass. We'll see why that happens, EliteAri. But it's supposed to be like, oh my god, they figured out the whole series. Oh, it didn't work out. And now we have a whole series that is the actual series that we got to tackle. So, EliteAri, we cut all that stuff out. You know, I thought we were going to have a whole episode with this idiot in the north, kissing a girl, hanging out with his new friend Cregan, going to White Harbor, maybe seeing the Eyrie. We did it in about 5 minutes at the beginning of the first episode. Shit show, you know. Anyway, I'm just filling you in on everything you missed, okay? And then, because we're continuing all of our Jace notes, EliteAri, I have Jace comes back and cries like a little bitch. That's like 40 minutes later.
But he tries to put on a strong face beforehand.
Yes. Oh my god, EliteAri, I'm so glad you're not like, hey, be nice to him. Every reactor, EliteAri, oh my god, their heart just dropped in this scene. They were just so taken aback. Oh my god, this young boy was just crying and hugging his mum and stuff like that. We hate that shit here,
you know, I hate to say negative things in general about, unless it's about something I love, like Mushoku Tensei, but that probably was the weakest part of the episode to me. Not because of, was it Jace? That's his name, right? Jace, that's what we're calling him. Not because of him, but because of, Rhaenyra, I guess, in that scene.
True!
Because we have seen the interactions between Jace and Luke, and we've seen like those kids have their interactions. We had that whole episode on the beach with Vhagar. We had the episode where they're at the table, like getting into fights or whatever, and hanging out with each other and dancing. I feel like they had a connection that I bought, and I felt sad for him because we've seen him interact with his brother. I haven't seen Rhaenyra really interact with her kids much. And if I have, nothing really stood out to me as like, I never, when I saw her crying there, I was like, when I saw her crying, I was like, I don't really feel anything here because I can't think back to any moments where I'm like, oh, she had that cute moment with her son here or anything.
We can talk about that now. Rhaenyra is searching for her kid the whole episode or whatever, so she doesn't do anything. And then she finds the kid, and she doesn't really find him. A dragon's wing and something, and she cries. Another scene, EliteAri, all the reactors. Oh, my heart. Oh, I love the black snake. Like, Minty would be freaking the fuck out right now, EliteAri. And Miller would be like, oh my god, these characters that we met for one episode, we don't care about, and they're giving them this much thingy, haha. Losers. Basically what you just said, EliteAri. You're just like him, for real. But true, only about EliteAri, I'm agreeing with you. They were both kind of like, I don't know if it is that Miller is like in my ear and I'm like can't separate what he would be saying right now. He's rent free, EliteAri. I can't tell if that's what's happening or if actually I was just like, come on now.
I mean, I would just say this wasn't a big deal. It's just like a little bit of like in the back of my mind, I'm just like, I don't really feel this, but I still like, I don't know, I still understand it. It didn't take me out of it or anything.
Season 1 probably should have been 2 seasons, but when you're pitching this show, you're like, Dragon Civil War, bro. Dragons fighting dragons. Let's go. And it's like, to have 2 seasons where no dragons fight dragons was probably a tough sell, especially when they were nervous about even coming back at all and all that shit. If that was the case, Harwin Strong could have been kissing Rhaenyra for like half a season rather than about 30 seconds and then dying. And then he could have had a little relationship with his kids and we could have liked the kids. And, well, I guess...
I like the kids.
Yeah. No, the kids suck. But...
No, I think the kids are the best part of the show. But yeah, go ahead. Except for Daemon. I like Daemon a lot. And Alicent, she's great. And Otter. Oh my... Actually, I changed my mind. They're all great. All the characters are great.
They had us in the first half, you know, that meme EliteAri, but it was the opposite way,
Very
where
funny.
you're pissing me off, but then you redeemed yourself a little bit. Anyway, and then my last...
Oh, and Aegon's great. Sorry, go ahead.
Aemond or Aegon? Which one did you say?
Aegon. We haven't got there yet.
Oh my god, we're going to get there. So, oh my god, EliteAri, I'm so excited. Anyway, my last note about this is my favorite, a classic here on the channel, EliteAri, where I just say, imagine having a skinny mum.
Yeah, when do we talk about this?
We definitely talked about it in this, and we've talked about it probably in 2 other places. It annoys me.
Yeah, that would be really weird.
Nobody's mum is skinny. It's annoying. Like, imagine hugging your skinny mum. It's so weird.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it would be weird. I don't know.
Anyway, momentary distraction doesn't really matter, you know. Anyway, then I guess we're doing Rhaenys next to EliteAri, everybody's favorite character. Remember when she came out of the ground and killed like 100,000 people? That was pretty funny.
Yep.
Rhaenys comes back from patrolling the Gullet, EliteAri. So you remember they've cut off all the water stuff from King's Landing. You know how that works, and navies and stuff.
Yep, true. I also don't, I mean, from an intellectual point of view, I'm just like, I just don't understand how any of this works. Like, if you have a dragon, why can't you just, maybe, did they give a justification? Like, why they can't just go and burn it down? Because even Aegon in this episode is like, don't worry, Vhagar's going to go burn it down. No, the blockade or whatever.
Well, because Rhaenys would be there, right? And then Vhagar would have to fight him, and I assume they got some fucking...
yes.
They got some fucking scorpions on those goddamn boats. Remember what happened last time, EliteAri?
I don't understand. Why are there scorpions? Wasn't that like a big revelation in Game of Thrones where they're like, oh, now there's suddenly scorpions, we can take out dragons? Or was it, I don't understand. Why are they here now?
like finds the design in a book or something.
So it's like, it wasn't a lost like knowledge, it was just no one had used it for a while.
Well, I think it's kind of a lost knowledge, but yeah. This is like 120 years or something they go without dragons. It's like, in a book I found the scorpion. Ha 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 ha. Or something.
But you feel okay? I don't know if I buy it, but okay, that's fine.
What aren't you buying, EliteAri?
I mean, just the practical element of like, if you figure in a world where people, unless am I misremembering? Do people in the game? Wait, Jesus! In the Game of Thrones story, people know that there used to be dragons, right? It's not like some fictional thing. It's like, yeah. So in a world where there's dragons, the next obvious question would be, how did people fight against dragons? Like, that's the next obvious thing. Like, was there anything to fight against it, or were they unbeatable? And then you figure the first thing would be like, oh, there were these scorpion things that, like, you know, they had back in the day. I don't know. It doesn't bother me that much.
Well, it's not like Lost. It's just like King's Landing didn't have any on standby because they haven't had to fight something that flies for like 100 years. But yeah, whatever, EliteAri, you know, just stop beating up on my favorite show. Anyway, Daemon wants to go to King's Landing right away. You know, he's finna fight. Because he's also mad that Rhaenyra went off, and he's not a very nice man, and we don't like Daemon, EliteAri. He doesn't want to fight Vhagar himself, he says, EliteAri. What a pussy.
It's a big dragon.
Well, we'll see. Helaena is brought up again, his ex-wife, EliteAri, Rhaenys' daughter. She was like, I was very sad when Helaena died.
I do remember that.
You should be nice. Oh, and then there's a cool line here. I was confused. I thought I had a note for a different scene, but it wasn't. And we had a discussion about this, EliteAri. Let me get the line out. Stop interrupting me, EliteAri. Where Daemon's like, what if Vhagar attacked Rhaenyra? What would she do then? She shouldn't have gone out alone. And then Rhaenys says, then I would pity Aemond. Rhaenyra is gonna fight EliteAri. Remember how I told you in the book she doesn't get in one fight? She's definitely getting a fucking fight, bro.
Yeah, then I said that if it's not in the book, she's not fighting. So I hereby declare she's not fighting. Well, in the book, EliteAri,
for the whole first 6 months of the war, she's in bed because she just had a miscarriage, and that's a big deal in the medieval ages. But here she is flying around 3 days later.
Oh, she's not going to fight. I can tell you that. I was on the edge of my seat there, Kyle. For this scene, I was like, this is crazy. I don't know. The show could go in any direction. They could literally go and fly there and kill Vega and Aemon, and I'd be like, oh, okay, damn. I was expecting it. I thought, oh wow, maybe Daemon will actually change her mind and they'll go and fly and kill him right now in the end of this episode. That'll be the big climactic like end to this episode. Nope. Looks like
not yet, EliteAri, not yet.
I do like that about the show because it does feel like I truly don't know where this is going. Anything could happen.
Oh my god, we're so excited, EliteAri. Oh, I'm hopping. Will there be a battle for King's Landing, EliteAri? I think there might be at some point. Oh my god.
Maybe.
Daemon wants to hold people responsible for not killing Aegon when they had the chance. He says that to Rhaenys here, EliteAri. If you had just killed him and defected, you would have done an M&A. And then to the twin later, which is the only time I'm bringing up this scene, so if you have something to say about any of these scenes, EliteAri, you better say them now. He wags his finger in one of the twins' face, Black Twin, and he's like, well, you should have killed Aegon right there, little pussy. And he says, fuck you, bro. And then he also says it to Mysaria, who comes back in this episode of EliteAri. She was just on a boat or something crazy. This Daemon, he's evil and I hate him.
I guess I feel like we also talked about this in the Lost episode, and I don't remember what your answer was to it. But why did Rhaenys not kill Aegon?
Because she likes Alicent, I think.
Which is a weird thing.
It's very weird.
I was very much on Daemon's side there, where I was like, I guess you could have, and you don't give him a reason here. Like, I was like, what is her reason? I guess she just likes Alicent. I don't know. The other one I was fine with the conversation with the twin. I don't know what you call him. What his name is?
Eric and
Egor, or was it Eric? Yeah, I like that. I was like, I understand. They were the King's Guard. They said since they were like 10 years old or something, and they're sworn to protect them. I understood that. I was like, I get him.
I have another note about that. I kind of lied. I just said twins and Jaime because it's like, oh, what happens when the King's Guard vows contradict each other and you're supposed to protect the innocent, but your king's trying to burn down King's Landing and he wants you to kill his dad. So you should probably kill the king, but then Ned Stark's going to wag his little finger in your face and then you're going to hate Ned Stark forever and then that's going to start a war in 15 years and fuck everything up and then everybody's going to die.
Yep.
Sad. Poor Jaime Lannister. Ned Stark was a real prick. But these twins too, what are they supposed to do? Be loyal to which king to protect which royal family? Do they have to protect them all? What happens if they have to fight each other, EliteAri? Oh my goodness gracious me. And also it's funny because they're twins and Jaime's a twin, huh?
You bringing up this like early Game of Thrones stuff, it just, I get this feeling in my mind. I'm like, I remember when I was so excited to watch the show and I read like the first chapter of the book and I'm like, I have a whole wide world ahead of me. And now it's all behind me, Kyle, and I feel so sad just how bad it ended. And I just had that moment there. So my goodness.
You've just got more books to read, EliteAri. Some people are saying he's nearly done, EliteAri, the next one. They said that there was an ad or something where he was trying to get, there was like an author in New Mexico wanted a dragon cake for a book release party.
Okay, if you say so.
We're freaking out about it, EliteAri. Everybody's made a video about it. Anyway. This is the Rhaenyra stuff. Eventually she finds him, Miller chirping in my ear when the crying happens. I already brought all of that up, EliteAri. We can skip right over that one. Wish Rhaenyra was still Australian, you know what I'm saying? Then we get Alan of Hull introduction scene, EliteAri. And right now you're going, who? Who is that? What are you talking about?
Alan of what?
Alan of Hull.
Yeah, I truly don't know what you're talking
about. Do you remember Alan, EliteAri?
If you have to describe what they look like, I don't know a lot of names.
Corlys is sad for Luke like everybody.
Oh, I do remember Alan, because I thought of Alan the alien from Invincible.
Very dramatically, this is a very character introduction scene. I was shocked, EliteAri, because I forgot. Poor Alan of Hull. I know of him, of course. I'm very famous. They don't say of Hull, but that's where he's from, EliteAri.
Yeah, it's like Alan.
Yes. Yeah. But I was like, oh my god! They caught me off guard because EliteAri, if I actually thought about it, of course he has to be black. But the whole time I was like, oh, this is like Corlys's shipman guy, I guess. And then he was like, oh, it's Alan. And I was like, oh, EliteAri, he's here. Oh, that's crazy. Alan of Hull isn't that interesting, EliteAri. Actually, it's pretty fucking interesting. Anyway, you're gonna get more of him later. But anyway, it was pretty fucking funny. It caught me off guard, and then I was like, this is the most introductory scene of introductory scenes I've ever seen. And they literally just did the thing where they say his name like you're supposed to know who he is, but you don't. And it's like an indication that it's a character that you're going to meet going forward. But anyway, I liked his demeanor. I liked the way he talked. He was pretty cool, EliteAri. And he pulled Corlys's body from the water, EliteAri. And Corlys is like, how come you did that? More on this later.
And I was thinking in that moment, I was like, why wouldn't he? But yeah.
True, he's like a commanding dude and stuff. But I guess when he was probably in armor or something, he had to pull him out or something, and it was like he risked his own life. Now that's crazy. But anyway. Also, Corlys needs a new heir now because fucking Lucerys is dead. Remember when they did all of that? EliteAri to get him, then Vaemon screamed about bastards and they cut his head off, all for nothing.
Yeah, that was sick.
So who is Corlys' heir going to be now?
I don't even have a speculation. I don't know.
You're very silly, EliteAri. But that's it, you know. Just a little introduction scene. We'll see him later. That's the second of 2 introductions, right? Yeah, we got Cregan Stark, Alan of Hull. And then there's one more later that I didn't even catch until I was making these notes just now, and then I flipped out a little bit of EliteAri. But anyway. We then get a very brief scene of EliteAri in a different castle with the other twin, and then Vhagar shows up, and then we cut away, and they've got scorpions. Now, EliteAri, we got a bunch of Old Town dudes here, and I was like, there's no way this is Old Town. We saw Sam at Old Town. That's a monstrous city.
I know where this is. Unless I'm completely... It's Castle Rock, obviously, right?
No, absolutely not.
It's not? Then why'd they play the music?
Did they play the music?
That's why I thought it was Castle Rock. Unless we're talking about the one with the scorpion, right?
Yeah, and Vhagar shows up and the other twin is there.
Yeah. I assumed that was Castle Rock because I'm like, oh my god, they're playing the Lannister music, but maybe that music is like something else. I don't know.
I don't think so. Because I think they're at either Rosby or Stokeworth, which Aemon mentions later are like the 2 castles that are like right next to King's Landing. Because Vhagar wasn't going anywhere. Like I don't think Vhagar could make it to. Well, we're doing the time thing, EliteAri, but Castle Rock is a long fucking way away. And there is a mention of Castle Rock in the fucking small council scene where Thailand is like, my brother Thailand too. His name's like Thai something, EliteAri. You know how these idiots are. Is mustering the thingies at the Golden Tooth. I remember Golden Tooth from season 1 of Game of Thrones. Bro, so cool. Kevin Lannister has a monologue about it. He's like telling Tyrion. Oh, it's so cool anyway. I'll kill myself if that was Castle Rock, EliteAri.
I feel like you would have heard about it if it was. So.
Yeah, it's also a small... Oh, I haven't done that. I've only watched reactions, and reactors are idiots, EliteAri, so I haven't watched...
Eric from Blind Wave would have pointed it out.
No, he doesn't know
anything. Oh my god, it's Castle Rock.
He's fully given up on this Game of Thrones shit. But yeah. Anyway, I thought it was Old Town, and I was very disappointed, but then I'm like, no, we saw Old Town.
We've seen it, yeah.
And it's fucking giant, and there's like 3 big towers and stuff. Anyway.
Maybe it's a commentary on how like technology has advanced because of the Old Town. I don't know. Who knows? No. They build skyscrapers over time.
True. They have a big tower called the... It's not called the Old Tower. There's no way it's called the Old Tower, EliteAri. I don't remember what the fuck it's called. They got a big fucking tower there.
Erection.
That's kind of like a skyscraper. Anyway, other twin at Rosby or Stokeworth. Crazy. Oh my god, EliteAri, we're talking about my king right now. Aegon characterization. What a young man, EliteAri. What a trifling young man. He's just being a king. He's being the best king he can be. He loves his little kid. He's making fun of losers. And let's forget the fact that he used to watch kids fight to the death and he raped that one girl, because I love my boy Aegon. I'm saluting just now, EliteAri, the whole time.
I think the interesting thing about him is that he's like slightly rotten, like slightly bad. Probably more so bad than good. But also he wants to be liked and he wants to be good. So it's like someone who doesn't have any principles, but like wants to be perceived as good or something. He's really interesting.
I didn't even think about that. I was like, oh no, it's just like, oh, he's good, and he's just selfish sometimes. Like when he raped that girl, he was just like, I want a nut, bro. And then watching the kids fight as he was just drunk and, you know, he was in the alleys or whatever, bro. But oh my god, it might just be that he wants people to like him, so he's just trying to give them what they want. Because that would make sense. Because at first I was like, oh, he actually just wants to give the sheeps back to the dude because he hasn't thought about this. And he's like, man, that guy should get his fucking sheep back.
No, he wants them to like him.
But with his kid, because I feel like last episode we definitely got a thing where he was like, I don't give a fuck about these kids, bro. I think it was just Helaena saying that he's never around the kids or something. But which is kind of on display here when he shows up and he's like, he doesn't even know where his kid would be, but he's like at his lesson he has every day, so he's not keeping tabs on him. But yeah, Anyway,
you know, I'm a genius, basically. Yeah, thank you.
It does make him a lot more likable, which I mean, I complained about this, and Minty complained through me, where it was like, well, the Greens are really getting the shaft here. Alicent's very mean in the first two episodes post-time skip, and then she has a little bit. But in this episode, I mean, we've always liked Helaena. She's my queen. And my king.
I loved Helaena as well. She was great.
Yes, we love them. And Aemon's a little prick and a little soy boy, and he's weak, and I'll beat him up.
He's the coolest.
So we don't like him. And Kristen Cole's annoying me all the time, even though he used to be my favoriteest of all time. But Alicent, we all love Alicent, of course. So, you know, maybe this war is two-sided. And we got Daemon here. He's a piece of shit, and we hate him. And
we love Daemon.
I'm sure. Well, I think we all like Corlys and Rhaenys and shit and stuff.
Corlys is like yeah, we love Corlys.
So we got Jace has to start beating up little boys or something. We need some bad guys on that other side. Anyway. You know, he just starts abusing his younger brother because Luke is dead, and he's like, why aren't you Luke? And that's how Joffrey is born. Crazy. Anyway. Aegon characterization. Wants Jaehaerys to come to the small council meeting. Very cute, EliteAri. This boy was just so cute, and then he got fucking decapitated, bro.
Unless it wasn't the boy, but yeah, it was.
Oh my god!
At the end, she said he was.
We're not talking about decapitations yet, EliteAri, but he was very cute, and there was a reason he was very cute and very on screen. So we were sad when he got decapitated, bro. Anyway, Helena's just so cool. That scene where they first interact with each other was so cool, EliteAri. I don't know why. Everything about it was like he's not mocking her horribly. He's like kind of mocking her how somebody who's over it mocks him, where I think I wrote down the line where she's like, I'm afraid of the rats. And he says, the queen is an enduring mystery, is she not? Or something. And it was just like, it is kind of funny. And he is obviously trying to flex on the handmaidens and like, because he's going to fuck them later. Or rape him, EliteAri. I disavow, EliteAri. L-rape, as we say. L-rape. But I don't know. I want him to interact more, EliteAri. I feel like their interactions will be very different moving forward. But I want a sitcom, EliteAri, with these two.
Yeah, I could imagine that being the case, yeah.
It's
They're
funny
an interesting dynamic.
I feel like I probably told you this last time, and by last time I mean the whole 10 episodes we did last time. Actually, I think you missed some of them because you were dying towards the end, EliteAri. Embarrassing. Helena's not like this at all in the books. She's just kind of like chubby and not pretty, apparently, and that's why Aegon is, like, annoyed. And Aegon is much different. He's, like, short and fat, kind of like Robert, and he's, like, kind of a good guy towards the beginning, unequivocally. He's like, my sister can have it. Whatever, I don't want the throne. And because Alicent is very much, like, the bad guy in this fucking book.
Well, she's definitely not in this.
No. Because remember, Alicent and Rhaenyra aren't even, like, sisters at all. She's, like, 15 years older than her, and she's an evil stepmother gimmick rather than my long-lost sister gimmick. Anyway, so all of the Helaena stuff is very interesting to me, because they're doing it for a reason, I suppose. Now, I guess we'll talk about it more later, because I feel like the one thing Helaena is famous for is the blood and cheese scene, and it's happened. But now I'm very interesting for the fallout and how they'll do it, because obviously she has a very interesting reaction to all that later. I don't know.
She had an interesting reaction this episode, but I guess you said she's autistic or something? Or is that just like a meme you made up?
Well, she's kind of autistic, but like, that's whatever she is why she's interesting. It's just fascinating. I think she's a great character. Like a scene-stealing, episode-stealing character. She's like the best character in this show, maybe. I just want to see more Helaena constantly. Anyway. And because the thing was, she's going to have blood and cheese, and then in the book she's, like, just depressed. She doesn't seem that depressed at the end of the episode. She's kind of in shock. So even, because I was like, it's ruined. Like, when I'm watching this, the episode, I'm like, well, we're not going to be getting any more of this, I guess. But it looks like we could be, and now I'm excited to EliteAri. But anyway. I phrased it in my notes here as we're constantly waiting for Aegon to have a Joffrey moment. Where it's like, it's the setup to two Joffrey jokes, which aren't jokes, it's just Joffrey being really cruel. Where at one point in, like, season 1, Joffrey is doing, like, the court shit, and he gets one guy to come up, and he's like, sing me a song. And then the guy's getting into it, and he's like, sing me a song. And it's just like the dude, when he's about to get his, like, sheep back, is, like, really excited, just like the singer is really excited. And then Joffrey cuts the fucking singer's tongue out or whatever. And as you're, like, waiting for that to happen. And at the small council, when he's like, he wants a ride. And he was just doing it to be funny because fuck Tywin Lannister, he's a little dweeb and I hate him. I want to see him do it. Whereas it's like what Tyrion would do to like Joffrey would do to Tyrion, EliteAri. Don't second guess him. Oh my god, it's even a Lannister guy. Oh my god, EliteAri, they just go so deep. And it never really happens. Like he is just like trying to embarrass him. He's not like cruel. I guess embarrassments can be cruel. But he's so cool, EliteAri. Two best characters in the show, you know.
Aegon has moved up substantially in how much I like them compared to last season. I like barely remembered him from last season, but he was like almost the highlight of this episode. I liked him a lot.
Coming out of like, I think most of the big review outlets have seen like the whole season. I know at some point they'd only seen 4 episodes, but the big headline that everybody put in their fucking thing was like, reviewers are very impressed with the acting of the Aegon character in season 2. He really has a standout season or something. So
fantastic.
They're on the same wavelength as us. Now, I was going to say something else about our young friend Aegon. Oh, how I thought Helaena was going to be like different. I think Aegon is going to be very different going forward now. He's probably going to be very mad, and so that could sort of.
Well, yeah, this is a terrible thing, Kyle. They killed the wrong kid. They've angered the king now. I guess Daemon might feel a little bit of revenge, but like to the wrong person. So I don't know if he's going to be satisfied with that.
We're not talking about blood and cheese in detail yet, EliteAri. You better shut up.
All right.
Okay. We'll get into all of that later, EliteAri.
Wait, no, Helaena. She was talking about rats and stuff as well.
Because
I guess she was just afraid of like, I'm just assuming she was just talking about this. Like she's afraid of like the.
Because cheese, or I assume it's cheese, is the rat catcher. So yeah, it's like, oh my god, the rat catcher's gonna come in and fucking kill her kids, bro. Anyway.
Because like when she first said it, at that point I was like, oh my god, she's talking about the clubfoot guy or whatever. Because I was like, oh, he's like the rat, he has rats everywhere or whatever. And I was like, oh, is this like hinting that he's gonna turn against Alicent or something? But I guess not. I guess it's just these guys.
He did kind of turn against Alicent, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, a little bit, but yeah.
Oh, I got some final little notes here about how Otto has to like correct him and goes up the stairs and then goes back down. I don't know if that was supposed to be that Aegon eventually gave the right answer to the Smith guy, or if Otto was just giving up.
I don't think he's giving up. I think he has to save face. He's like, I can't keep interrupting the king or it'll undermine his power entirely. That's at least what I took from it.
Yeah.
How he's like, he wants to step in. The first time is like, it's such an interesting dynamic where like Aegon wants to appear like nice so that people like him and he's like be known as a good king, which is like what he's talking about later when he's drunk, talking about like, oh, what am I want to be remembered as and all that. And then Otto kind of Otto is a bit more practical and he's like, he wants everything to go well, but he knows that he can't intervene too much, otherwise like it's going to cause more problems. I think that was probably the best scene in the show, was this stepping up, stepping down scene.
Nah, it was okay, you know. Oh, Aegon's got a posse, which I have noted down. He does. He has 3 friends now. It's pretty funny. And they even, like, joke around with him and aren't scared of him. They're just, like, mocking him and stuff as they walk in. He's like, the magnanimous. And he's like, what the fuck does that mean? And he just gives a little shrug.
So are they just friends, or are they, like, Kingsguard, or, like, what are they?
No, they would be, like, other noblemen's sons or something.
Okay. Yeah, they were great.
Yeah.
What a cool idea to have, like, I don't know if maybe it's like this in the original thing, but to have it when they're sneaking in, have Aegon in the backdrop. It's like, you don't have to have it. I don't think you have to have Aegon there.
Like small details. Like
I thought that was great.
Rocked up one day, and that was cool. Yeah,
I really liked it.
Because there's a lot of scenes where I think we get a Aemond Kristen Cole scene while that's all happening too, and it does add to like the. It feels almost like Naughty Dog gamey. Where it's I have
no idea.
Where it's like, oh, like these things are happening in the background, and you're like sort of walking, crouching, but you're also really interested. Like I feel like that happens in The Last of Us Part 2 a lot, where it's like, like a detail you won't understand until you get Abby's perspective is happening in the background, and you're kind of looking in, but you're Ellie and you're crawling or whatever. But yeah, it was cool anyway. Aegon has the line, he came all this way, which was really cute. That line, because he says it to Otto, almost makes me feel like he is just, like, cluelessly... Like, it's not an agenda to him to try and come across as nice. Like, it seems genuine, almost. I don't know.
No, I don't think it's an agenda. I don't think he's doing it because he's like, oh, it's not a calculated thing. I think he's like, he truly just wants people to like him. Like, he's just doing what any person would do because they're like, oh, I'm a king. I have the power. I can do good things. Let me just do this to this man who's like, I want to help him out. I don't think it's a calculated want people to like him. I think it's just like inherently he just wants people to like him because he's just like a normal person.
That's what I assume. So don't act like you had some sort of development EliteAri. I just misinterpreted and thought it was, So you're stupid and I'm just as smart. Oh my god, I just insulted myself, EliteAri.
Yep.
And EliteAri, do you remember the Smith's name? The answer is, of course you don't, EliteAri. And it was on the third viewing that I realized this was Hugh the Hammer, who's going to be a character later. Did you notice, EliteAri, the color of his hair?
Was it brown? I don't know.
It was gray, very Targaryen gray, EliteAri. So,
he's a Targaryen?
You know, making weapons and stuff. We'll have to see. That might come up later. I lost it, EliteAri. I was making my notes about an hour ago, and I was like, what the fuck did this fucking idiot just say? And then I was like, what the fuck? Look at his hair. But that's crazy. So that's the third character introduction in this goddamn episode. So that's neat. Then I've just got aim and characterization, pretending he's in control more than he is. So I didn't have much about aim and EliteAri. You have anything to say about this dork? He shows up
not
in
really,
the council
no.
scene. He has a talk with Thingy.
The only interesting thing that we get is that from Aegon's perspective, Aemond is very loyal and will do whatever he says.
Yeah.
That's the only really interesting thing.
Do you think Aemond is actually loyal?
No, I don't think so. But
okay, good. I think
it's interesting that Aegon sees him that way.
I'm trying to suss out if the show has hinted at him not being loyal, which I thought they had, and that was like the dramatic irony, but I couldn't remember entirely. So.
But then now that I think about it, I'm not sure why I think that, but I just have a feeling where I'm like, he doesn't come across as loyal. I guess it's not even the fact that
he's like the kids are actually his, right?
Yeah, I remember that from. I don't know how I remember that. You must have mentioned that in the. I don't know, maybe that.
If the normies know about it, EliteAri, you're gonna know about it, okay? And they were talking. It's
true.
But yeah, him and Alicent have a cool little mirroring moment where they both just say that each other is angry. Like Alicent, when she's talking to Otto, is like, Aemond, he's angry, and then later when he says she's angry, so it's like they're both sort of discounting each other. So there's a little bit of a disconnect there. I do like that in each camp there's sort of internal conflicts too, and character dynamics and stuff. Because some of these characters are going off to war soon, EliteAri.
I'm sure they are.
They're not going to.
I'm sure they'll never come back.
Forever. So it's interesting to get some of the character introductions out now. Because I don't know if I've ever thought about a talking scene between Aemond and Kristen Cole before, but we got one, and it was kind of interesting. Now, Kristen Cole is such a fucking wet block of a goddamn character now. That, my goodness. Anyway, EliteAri, moving on to Alicent and Kristen Cole cunnelinging EliteAri. Who would have called this one from the beginning of season 1, episode 1, but this guy, right here.
Well done. Kyle, I saw the scene.
Video. You were like, no, they're not going to do it.
Well, I thought it was the Master of Spies or whatever, that guy.
No.
But I was like, how would that make any sense? But yep, it was Kristen Cole. Crazy.
I hope the implication is still that they only started after Viserys died, because Alicent is actually a loyal bitch.
Another thing that I guess I was shocked by was that they kept mentioning that Viserys died a few days ago. To me, it just feels like it's been so long since then.
I think it's got to have been like a week or so, at least, or 2 weeks or something. But
2 weeks sounds more believable. That's how it felt.
Say,
but like they
say
feel like
since the day since Viserys died.
Yeah.
Because Aegon was like the next day, and then Rhaenyra would have to have been told about that, then sent them to Storm's End and shit. Jace has been to fucking the Wall and back. So it should have probably been a couple of months, but I think we're doing a few months.
Didn't Dany fly up there like really quickly or something?
Yes, she did. But that.
Well, then why would it take months?
Because
no, it's canon though in
this
universe.
Goddamn book, they're definitely telling you it takes months or whatever. But
that's interesting. Depends. Are they going to treat like Game of Thrones as not canon, I wonder?
Because that's like the thing with the White Walkers. Like, oh, you can just say, oh, they hinted what's going to happen in the books, and you can keep the sort of the mystery there. But it's like they have the dagger from the show.
Oh.
So it's like, I don't know. Anyway, but they were cunnilingus, EliteAri. I think I even spelt that word right, so I'm incredible, frankly. Plus, I predicted it. See, I just predict things, EliteAri. This has been true in both of our discussions this evening. When did it begin? We just addressed that, you idiot. Alicent says they cannot again, but then they do again later, EliteAri. They just can't keep their hands off each other. Oh my god. So sexy, EliteAri. And then she does have the line that EliteAri couldn't wait to spoil earlier when he says there's a chill in the air. Summer is well and truly through, she says.
Yep.
So winter's coming, bro. Cole is so formal and stilted. And then he wants her to put the cloak back on, EliteAri. If you remember, that was a big thing with the Rhaenyra thing, and he had an internal conflict about whether he ever wanted to sleep with her because he's supposed to be a celibate young man, and but then he just did it, and it calls back that one Dornish guy. He's not Dornish, he dies in Dorne, the King's Guard that dies in Dorne, EliteAri. You know, you've read these books. Favorite book is Feast for Crows, and that whole cloak thing. He's got a whole monologue about the cloak and the stuff. Anyway. Criston Cole, you know, something's going on there. He's just a little fucking boring, you know what I'm saying? Have some goddamn emotion, you know? Anyway. And even later, he's still like, and Rhaenyra is a cunning spider. And it's like, Jesus Christ, motherfucker. Anyway.
He's spited.
That was a good one, EliteAri. That sounded like spider. Then we've got Alicent versus Otto. This scene also annoyed me where it's like, can these motherfuckers emote? I'm sick of this goddamn dialogue style, EliteAri. Are we to each other's ends? Just say you're fucking me over or not. That's what Cersei and Tywin would do. Anyway. So
you're saying you don't like Alicent?
No, Alicent's my queen. I got two of them, and they're mother and daughter, EliteAri. Or are they? No, they definitely are. They decide that they are on the same side. Otto sends ravens and urges lots of patience and restraint to thingy. So, EliteAri, now that Alicent and Otto are on the same side, they even say here that all they've got to do is wait out Aegon getting bored of ruling, just like remember Robert, bro, and then they can lead the ship to victory or something. But I think what happens at the end of the episode is gonna put a little wrench in this plan, huh?
Probably, yeah. He seemed to like the boy because he was like, he's going to be my heir. He's going to like come to the small council. If they didn't have that scene, I would have been like, does he really care about his kids? Like, is he really going to care? But like, since we got that, I'm like, yeah, he's probably going to be a bit upset.
Yeah. Then we got Lara Strong stuff, chooses new servants for Alicent, which is obviously a bad idea. The fucking spy master chose all your servants. He also hints that he knows about her and Criston, where he's like, you were preoccupied today. Later tries to influence Aegon to remove Otto's hand, EliteAri. What a sneaky little bastard.
Yep, it's sneaky. I don't know to whose end he's trying to serve here. Could it be something to help out Alicent implicitly, or is it something to serve his own goals? What are his goals? I don't know.
What are his goals?
Very funny. Yep, thank you.
Anyway, so Otto's all about restraint and stuff, and I don't think Aegon's going to want to be in restraint next episode, EliteAri, you know. We'll see. Alicent says the names of her old handmaiden, Viserys, and Lucerys Velaryon as the funeral happens, and she's lighting some candles, EliteAri. Wasn't this just a nice thing from our queen, Alicent? Just a nice young lady. Never done anything wrong. She's my queen, EliteAri.
What has she done wrong?
She wanted Lucerys' eye to be taken out, and that was really mean.
That's fine. I don't care about that.
And then she made Rhaenyra walk to her right after she had given birth to make fun of Laenor for not having
That's
proper
fine.
kids.
I don't care about that.
No, those are both very mean.
Didn't she, like... I don't remember. Did she court Viserys due to her father's wishes, or did she do it on her own regard? I don't remember.
She definitely only did it because her father wanted to.
I guess that would be a bad thing.
But they became friends a little bit after that, like twice, EliteAri. So, and if those other two things don't matter, fucking your friend's parent or it doesn't matter at all, EliteAri. Stop being a pussy.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, why is she portrayed? What's portrayed as
I think it's the Luke scene, and then she tried to stab Rhaenyra over it. Like,
yeah, maybe. Maybe I'd have to watch it again. In retrospect, thinking about it, I'm like, I get it, but it's like not. It's not. I wouldn't say that like anything about her character that badly. I don't know.
In terms of like actual things that she's done wrong, it's not that bad. But
we'll
like,
see.
The way she
I'll
was
reflect
portrayed,
on this.
especially in episodes 6 and 7, was annoyingly sort of evil. In an annoying, mildly sense, which is the worst kind. But then she was good again. And now she's still good, EliteAri.
Okay, good.
But those normies, let me tell you something, EliteAri, they do not like her. I'll tell you that much.
That's okay.
Rhaenyra, and it's for that Luke thing. Because she even brings it up in this episode where she's like, well, Aemon just wanted to do it because they didn't have a punishment for the eye. And Marquetta was very mad about that, EliteAri. She said, shut up! And I was like,
that's great.
Based. We're truly black-pilled. Rhaenyra returns and wants Aemon, blood and cheese, and the Helaena differences. Kristen Cole and Aemon get a scene together about how they would fight the war. Hold on, EliteAri, we'll talk about that in a second, because I have 2 miscellaneous notes after that. I have Dalton Greyjoy is brought up. They want to make him master of ships, EliteAri. You think we're going to see a Greyjoy? That'd be pretty cool, huh?
I have no idea. I don't even remember this, but okay.
In the small council meeting, it's like one line.
You know who they did mention? They mentioned Ormond is what I wrote down in my thing. He's in Old Town. I was like, isn't that like their kid or something?
Oh,
you kept saying he's in Old Town.
Daron is their kid.
And who the hell is Ormond?
I think that's Otto's brother, or I think it's his nephew actually, who is Lord in Old Town right now. Because Otto is actually the like from the second family, or it was maybe just his older brother. Like he's the Lord, so his son is the Lord, not Otto. You understand? Because there's like, shouldn't Otto be the guy? But he's not. Which means Alicent is like the second daughter of a noble family, and then she got to be queen, EliteAri. What's up with that? Anyway, and also my last thing here is both Daemon and Aemon want Harrenhal, EliteAri. That might be a conflict later on. Both of them want to fly.
I do feel like I don't know if I brought this up or you brought this up, but I truly do feel like that those two are gonna have to fight. Like, and I don't mean like dragon fight. I mean like sword to sword fight or something.
At some point in season
1,
from
the when they're at the table or whatever, right? When it all breaks up and then they leave.
Jace tries to punch Aemon, but it doesn't do anything, and then Daemon stands up. That's the fight, not Jace.
They're gonna one day they're gonna have their sword to sword fight. I can tell.
Do you really think they're gonna be fighting on the ground, EliteAri, you idiot?
I do. I feel like it would be a sword to sword thing. Well, I think that's much more interesting because, like, if you're gonna have dragons fighting, what does that say about your skill? Nothing, right? I feel like you should have a dragon to dragon. Not dragon. You should have a sword to sword fight, right? I mean, we'll see. Maybe the show will change my mind. But like, if someone beats someone in a dragon fight, I feel like that doesn't say much about their skill. But I guess we'll see how the dragon fights are portrayed. We haven't seen any yet. Well, like, I don't think Aemon beat Lucerys because of his skill on a dragon. I think he beat him because the dragon was bigger.
That's true. But he probably would have beat him hand to hand, you know. But anyway.
He definitely would have hand to hand. But I don't know if they were the same size dragon. I don't know if he would have beaten him. And I don't think if he did, that would say anything about his... I guess if they were the same size, it would say about their skill a little bit. But not necessarily.
Hey,
we'll see. We'll see how the... Yeah.
I know the answer, huh? I know the answer. You don't.
I'll know one day.
No.
All right.
Oh, EliteAri, in a big thing here. They mentioned in the small council meeting, Aegon says, old fat Tully is going to bend the knee or I'm going to fuck him up. EliteAri, they're still not saying his goddamn motherfucking name.
Well, he's old and fat.
No, because his name is fucking Grover, and they don't want to say it, EliteAri.
Oh,
I'm so excited. What are they going to do if they still not decided? They have to.
They'll say it.
That's got to be the next couple of episodes. They go on the goddamn Riverlands, EliteAri. Spoiler alert. Now, they have to make a decision, because they did this last season too, and me and Minty were like, oh my god, they didn't say it again. They just said Lord Tully again.
They'll say it.
It's like, they got to make up a fucking mind. Are you renaming him, or are you having the Muppet Tullys? Now, EliteAri,
if they're saying Alan or whatever, they'll say Grover or whatever.
What the fuck's wrong with Alan? Alan spelled
it's such a normal name.
A-L-Y-N, EliteAri. It's really cool. It's not Alan.
Okay. Well, they can spell Grover with an A-E or something instead of an O.
He's not a Targaryen. He is Grover as it's spelt on the Sesame Street.
Right.
And his son, Elmo Tully, and his other son, I can't remember the other one. It's another I nearly said Looney Tune, EliteAri. They're not Looney Tune, they're Sesame Streeters. Now, EliteAri got the battery warning, and we got blood and cheese to talk about, goddammit. It's super cool. The tension is through the fucking roof, especially when you know what's happening, EliteAri.
Oh, the heartbeat in the head?
Why do you say?
The heartbeat sound in the head, like the sound effects, the music or whatever?
I feel like that did happen. But yes, and then it starts storming, and they're like looking around, and they're like, "There's gonna be guards here." And then that one lady catches them, and they're like, "For the rats." Oh my god, I can do his voice, EliteAri. I'm gonna be big and tough one day. Oh, it's just so fucking cool, bro. And then they cut his fucking head off. Now, remember, EliteAri, I was like, the most grossest thing to ever happen in Game of Thrones is gonna happen this episode. But it really didn't live up to that, did it, huh?
I mean, I said it. There's no way it's gonna be that bad, right? And I think it was like just it is probably like, well, they didn't show it is the thing, but as a concept, it probably is the
EliteAri, if you recall, season 2, episode 1 of the original series, there was also a baby getting killed by Janos Slint.
Yeah, but that was like we just saw a knife or something, right?
Well, we did hear a scream too, but I think it was the mother's scream. But yeah, the noises and stuff were pretty bad here. Now, EliteAri, they changed Blood and Cheese a little bit, so there's a lot of controversy about this scene because a lot of book people being like, they fucking pussified it, bro. They didn't do anything. Bunch of bullshit. So that's why I was right, EliteAri, and I just didn't have the foresight, so I wasn't lying, and I was totally right, okay? But in the book, right, EliteAri, these two break in, and they're fucking going around. And you never know, like, there's no setup scene or it's like, you gotta get Aemond. They just say it, like, afterwards they just say, son for a son, Lamau. Now, EliteAri, there's a lot of discourse, and all of the reactors seem to be in, what do you call it, disbelief. They all think, Daemon didn't want this, bro. He just wanted Aemond. Daemon's innocent. Now, Daemon, they cut away, which they like to do with Daemon, where they make it a little ambiguous, where he says, where Cheese is like, so what if we can't find him? And then Daemon did the long shot, and then we cut away. Obviously, he said, decapitate the little fucking kid, bro. I don't give a fuck, I'm evil. That's what he said, right?
It did cross my mind that, it did cross my mind. I didn't think of him saying to kill the little kids, though. I don't remember. I don't remember who he would have said, though. I don't know. Something went through my mind where I'm like, oh, he probably said that if not them, then someone else. But I didn't think the kids. It
is sort of a reframing of the war of like a son for a son. Obviously, everybody's thinking Alicent and Rhaenyra. But the war is actually between Rhaenyra and Aegon. So it's kind of a point where it's like, oh, we're like readjusting how we think about these things. There's what was I gonna say? I don't think next episode we're gonna get a scene with Daemon where he's like, man, I can't believe it. I think he's gonna be like, well, that's not what I wanted, but who cares? They're the bad guys. When him and Rhaenyra are talking about it, and Rhaenyra is gonna be freaking out. How it happened to EliteAri. So they break in, and they get them, and all three of them are there. Because if you remember, Helena's got 3 kids. And they want a son.
Okay.
You remember? They got an even littler kid.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
I don't think they put that kid in the show. That makes a lot more sense, because then all the boys are dead. And she wouldn't have an heir. But in the book, they got 3 kids. Anyway, they got the twins and then another boy. I'm almost certain. Anyway, Helaena is there, and they break in, and it's just her. Oh, and she's in Alicent's room, which is supposed to be a big thing, which maybe they're trying to, like, tie back in because Alicent was doing something else.
Wait, but the kids are sleeping, right?
Yeah, well, in the book, they're not sleeping, yeah. So they're just, waiting for Alicent, because Alicent comes in and finds them afterwards or something. And they break in. Oh, which in the book, I guess, assumes that maybe they were trying to kill Alicent. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I can't remember. But anyway, they break in, and there's the fucking things there, and they take the kids hostage, and they're like, hey, bitch, that's Helaena. Choose one of them to die. And because it's not like they're specifically looking for a son, I guess. But they have the 2 boys. And then Helaena points to the youngest son, because she's like a normal person here. Because she's like, oh, he's young, he won't even, like, remember. Like, he hasn't lived that long. Kill him. So she actually has to make a choice, which is, like, the most fucked up thing about it. Which also gets brought over into the show, but it's not that fucked up because Helena's awesome and different. But then they kill the older one. And so the younger one has to grow up knowing that his mommy want him dead. And, like, the big dude whispers in his ear, hey, little brat, your mommy wanted you dead. And then they push him down, and they cut the head off, and then they run away. And then Alicent runs in, and there's a decapitated little boy there, and she's fucking screeching, and Helaena loses her mind or something. So that's supposed to be the most deadliest fucked up thing ever in Game of Thrones history, EliteAri. They kind of did it, huh?
I not the details. I can see what you were saying about the difference between Helaena in the book and show is the fact that she truly just like points to the guy here, like the male one.
Yeah,
and she
because
seems to not have that much of a reaction to it either.
Like Helaena hates boys, maybe because Aegon's a prick to her, and like,
yeah,
she resonates more with the daughter, which is maybe because they do have the thing of like, she ain't telling true. That's how they say it, Illyrio, because the show's bad. And then he's like, no, she is. Which is a cool little dynamic between Blood and Cheese, my two favorite characters, bro.
Oh, I was so mad at the guy who wasn't the soldier guy when he just had the knife on her neck. I was like, God damn it, you idiot. You ruined everything. Why did you do this? I hated him. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
What was I saying, Illyrio? Anyway, this scene was made in... Oh, everybody's mad about this scene because they changed it and stuff. But obviously it's way better in the show because Helaena is way more interesting. And she's... Like, the way she just grabs the other one and runs away, it's just such a great scene, Illyrio. Why is it so good?
So I can understand why people would prefer the other scene. The way you're describing it sounds more interesting. And, however, I do think the way they did it in the show is even more interesting. And I agree. I'm just trying to piece my thoughts here together. I agree with what you're saying.
It seems like they have more of a plan for Helena's character. Because that basically
well, that's the thing.
That's
okay. What I was going to say is that, yeah, I agree with what you're saying, that I think this is more interesting, especially because of Helena's reaction to it, is what I think is the most interesting. However, I don't know if they're going to continue to expand on that reaction to it. Because if they just left it here, for instance, she has basically, my interpretation of this scene is that, okay, she points out the boy, which she may have reasons. Maybe she hates Aegon. Maybe she has other reasons that she chooses the boy, whatever. She points to it. Then while they're killing the kid, she calmly like goes up to her daughter or whatever, the other kid.
She doesn't scream.
Picks it up, doesn't scream, isn't really panicking or anything like that. Slowly, not slowly, but like hurriedly walks out the room, goes to Alicent, sits down, isn't having like a freak out or anything. She's just calmly like sitting there. So it's like, this is interesting.
Kristen is fucking her mom or anything.
Yeah, well, I mean, in fairness, something just happened. She probably doesn't care.
Yeah, and Alicent is like also doesn't care that she caught her, which is such a good moment too for Alicent. Like, she's actually just concerned for what the hell is happening with her daughter, and also she understands Helaena enough to know that she's probably not going to care or tell on her for sleeping with Kristen. There's so much in like a little bit that makes Alicent and Helaena my queens.
So that's the good stuff with the scene with Helaena and I guess Alicent at the end. Now the potential bad stuff is if you open next episode and I don't even know what I want. Like, because firstly, Helaena could be back to normal. She could just not care at all, which would be interesting, but also a bit weird. She could be kind of depressed, which is also, that seems more, I don't know what it is about me. It's like I can see this being good or bad, and I don't know what's going to make it good or bad. But I think it purely depends on what the next scene is.
I think it opens on Aegon being really mad and like interrogating her and being like, "What happened? What did you do?" And she's like, not really responding to him. I think that's probably what happens. Now, I will say we just got the second battery warning, Illyrio, so we've got maybe like a minute and a half left. So if you have anything quick to say, actually, let's just warn the audience: we're not going to do an outro for this. It's just going to cut out at some point, so we can talk about it for longer. Go ahead, Illyrio.
Lighting the candles, got that. I'm just going through my notes. The king.
We'll talk about that. The best,
the dragon cock, the untamable beast. So a bunch of names for Aegon. They were funny.
Oh yeah. I know it like the shape of me cock. He says that was pretty gross.
Yeah. Yep. Alicent. I read that already. Aemond is going to marry a Baratheon. I don't know if we pointed that out, but that was kind of
from last
interesting.
Season,
I didn't remember that. But I guess it makes sense if he was there.
Bro.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all my notes. Oh no, there was one thing, which is history and precedents. Precedents will come to your side, is what Otto says to. Was it to? I don't remember who it was to Aemond or Aegon or something. Yeah. Which was interesting because it portrays Otto's side as like a very conservative kind of side, whereas the other side are more progressive in that you've got
just like
trying to defy the tradition of like having a male heir be the one that's chosen. Yeah, it's interesting. I liked it. Cool line.
We should have talked about Blood and Cheese earlier when you wanted to, Illyrio. Then we could have talked about it forever. And I thought about that at the time, but whatever. I
mean, it's cool. It's cool.
The follow-up is very important. I do agree.
Yeah.
I guess I have confidence, and I'm very interested where they go with Helaena. I guess maybe we do an outro, huh, Illyrio?
Let's think.
House of the Dragon good. We'll be back next Monday. EliteAri won't be distracted. Unless we're doing Mushoku Tensei next Monday. Who knows? It'll be quicker. We're going to get 1 million views on this because EliteAri is going to do a cool thumbnail. But we'll be back. Fuck you. Support links in the description below. Thanks.